Good morning, this is Anthony at Land Title. I wanted to bring you our Niwot update, and look at that, $2 million for the average sales price right now. $2 million average sales price in the city of Niwot is not the highest we've ever had, but we're definitely up there. And a lot of this being that Niwot's in this interesting place where we have a lot of high end, we have a lot of just median homes in the middle of town, and it really just depends on what's sold, which is why I always say we really need to read between the lines in the city of Niwot. So let's get into that a little bit. We're definitely not 133% up on our average sales price from last year, I promise that, but you can see a little bit from the trend here. The county's been chasing down average sales price for a while, or even median, right? And this happened over basically April to current because of rising interest rates. The big difference in Niwot is that the luxury market has seeming to be very resilient to the price of money, largely because in this area, people pay cash for houses a lot. We also see just an increase in wealth coming into the area. That being said, we go over to price per square foot, and price per square foot really has come down quite a bit. So 337, it's still relatively more expensive than almost anywhere outside of the city of Boulder, but we're actually below where we were at this time last year. We have been for a few months. So that being said, it could just be a composition issue, but at the same time, we have had a lot of high-end luxury sell for multiple years in a row now, and we've seen a steady increase in value. So nothing to be scared of. It's not like, the sky is falling, but it is one of those times where we really need to be mindful of, how to price a property and who the buyer population is, because there's just not as many buyers out there. So look at this. This is the supply of inventory. Niwot's one of the only places where supply really hasn't been overwhelmingly higher than a year ago. It says 75% above last year, but look, we're talking about the 1 month from in October. In September, they were identical. So that being said, we had a little bit of a rise over the last month, but we've also had a lot of new listings come to market, right? We had 11 new listings come to market last month. We're seeing that in line with last year. Like I said, always have to read between the lines a little bit here, but it's fairly seasonal in Niwot, but at the same time, the fall seems to be still a really good time to buy and sell real estate in Niwot. It's a little more resilient, I think, because it's more of the luxury market in so many ways than we see in some of the other markets. So usually you have, a 2x swing between January and May, but here in this market, it doesn't really seem like there's ever really a bad time to sell a house. Now, if you look at this is the real issue. 11 homes came to market, but only 4 went under contract last month. More is sitting on the market. I think it's because there's only 4 buyers ready to pull the trigger last month in Niwot. So that being said, there's just a lot less buyers because of the cost of money and because of the fall market, right? This is traditionally a time where buyers start to slow down, which is why we see that rise in inventory, and then it kind of tapers off as we get into the holidays when people pull stuff off of the market, relist in the springtime. So we have 3.5 months of inventory right now. It's the highest months of inventory we've seen in a long time in the city of Niwot. That's rising pretty quickly. It's actually more than you see even in Superior, and Superior is the highest inventory in the entire Boulder County. So there you go. Niwot, really small market, finally inching up there in inventory. But back in 2019, we had 6 to 8 months of inventory. So take it with a grain of salt. This is barely getting into somewhere what I would consider a balanced market, but it's 21 houses. So it really doesn't say a ton yet. Now, average days in the MLS, this means how fast is it from active to under contract. Our active to under contract time in Niwot should be rising through the end of the year, just traditional fall market behavior. And we have 36 days in the MLS, so just over a month, almost 5 weeks basically to go under contract. Now that's not so bad, but compared to last year, compared to earlier this year, it seems pretty extreme, right? That's 100% increase from last year, but the percentage close to list price tells us something dramatically different. So what's dramatically different here is that our composition of sales, we don't have very much going on. So it's been really, really kind of stereotypical Niwot behavior for months and months and months. And then this last month, there was at least one property that went way under asking price. So 89.2% listed sale price. Somebody got an absolute bargain and it skewed the entire number set. So that being said, it looks really extreme. It's going to bounce back next month. We'll probably stay somewhere in that, 95 to 98% range because that's what the county's doing. That's kind of what the market's doing as a whole. It just depends on how much of that high-end luxury is selling and how much of a discount somebody's willing to give. Because a year ago, we were at 104% and it was completely unsustainable and it was the highest in the county. So this small amount of numbers really allows this to fluctuate quite a bit. But be prepared that it's going to come back and it's going to look pretty normal, right? So if you have any other questions on the Niwot market, I'm Anthony Meisner, and I'll catch you in the next video.